Welcome to yet another edition of Unlock Woman, brought to you by African Bank. And you know, I never do it alone. I do it, of course, with the beautiful Dorik Sitole.
And the amazing Kanya Asosibo. And
we're talking money, money, money. Welcome back. Oh, okay, Dee.
Yes, my lady.
Dee. I see you are living in your masculine energy today.
Oh, no, we have to mix it up. We have to mix it up with a touch of blue as well.
I see it.
And you did say the other episode, spring has sprung. So we're bringing in some color into this episode as well. We're bringing in some color.
That is, we're not only bringing in color, but we're bringing in another beautiful, amazing, just trailblazer of a female powerhouse. I don't know, Dibalantonina, as they say, Wakosa. Welcome to Dr. J. Thank you for joining us and honoring our date.
Oh my God, such an amazing warm welcome. Thank you so much to the beautiful
so
ladies. I hear we'll be talking money, money, money.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the conversation, but thank you for having me. As she's alluded, my name is Dr. Jasmine Pega.
Yes, so Dr. Jasmine Pega is, of course, a special envoy, or served rather in the special envoy for the United Nations. But amongst that, you know, entrepreneurship is part of her. It's in her blood, taking on and activism where women are concerned is something that she's passionate about. And we're going to be unpacking that and so much more. So perhaps let's start off easy. And if you can think back to a moment of young Jasmine before Dr. J, young Jasmine, you know, dreams that you had about what a future could look like for you as a Black African child on the continent. Is there one particular memory or moment that you can remember that stands out for you?
Quite a few. It's actually the first time I'm being put on spot to actually speak about myself, because ordinarily I always feel like it's much better when I talk about what I do, because now I've worn a different cap where I feel what I do is what is needed than who I am. Quite a long journey. A young South African in the dusty streets of Soweto, living among the hardcore issues of, you can say, social ills that needed you to consistently think of ways and means to better yourself, looking at your family, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your friends. It was a constant journey of trying to figure out what was life all about. But more than anything, and a seed that was deep bestowed in myself to say there is definitely something better. And the entrepreneurship journey for me was born really outside of fear, of fear of not being inferior, of fear of just not being ordinary, the fear of not being mediocre, but more than anything, the fear of making sure that the world is a better place for myself, my family, my community at large.
You've said a mouthful for somebody. And I think the importance about sometimes starting off with self, you know, and reflection is to also just, for those who are listening, to get encouraged to say, you are not your circumstance presently. Because then today we move on to what you do, you know, from young Jay, you know, was a Soweto. And today we're talking about, you know, Dr. Jasmine. Let's start there, you know, that accomplishment. Then we're also talking about you not just sitting on a community stage, community platform. We're not talking about you sitting at a provincial platform. You know, it's not just national, continental. We're talking global, you know, having served as an ambassador in the UN. What can you share about your journey? And perhaps for a lot of people, I think it's not general knowledge how you become an ambassador. So maybe if you can share just, you know, a few things about what that journey looked like for you to the point where you got to your purpose. And I understand when you say, you know, you love speaking more about what you do. And that's, I'm assuming it's because it's fundamentally based and built on purpose of you. So the journey of becoming an ambassador, how's that possible? What is an ambassador? and, the journey of you getting to your point of finding your purpose and then living in your purpose?
I think for me, basically, unfortunately, since you started by me trying to talk about who I am and where I come from, basically, it's just being consistent with what you've already been given as a destiny, as life purpose. Literally, I started my business when I was 19, without mentorship, without guidance, without actually even getting exposed to anything. That alone, I always credit it to purpose and destiny, because I had never even seen a business being run. I had never even seen an aunt, an uncle, or anyone running a business within my comfortable space. So starting a business at that young age and me being consistent on that course and on that path then opened up opportunities for me in the same path to see more and more and more. But because I was naturally a person who has a willpower of bringing others with, that journey then kept on opening different layers of opportunities and platforms for me to say, yes, I'm here, I'm alone, I'm 19, I'm running a company, and yes, I want to engage blue chip companies, but where are my sisters? Where are my brothers?
Yeah.
Where are my mothers? Where are my aunts? Because from where I come from, I've seen them becoming a very solid foundation for who we are. And I've seen how hard they've worked for us to be in a different a position in terms of our lives. I've seen them fending us to school. I've seen them doing trade. Literally, that was entrepreneurship without even anyone saying much. But for me, feathering and being consistent within my path then unlocked so many opportunities. But what I can attest, part of my success was that as I walk on this lonely path of entrepreneurship and seeking to emancipate myself in terms of liberating myself first economically, and me working hard to make sure that others come with, that opened a huge a flood of opportunities for me.
Yeah.
Because each and every room where I went, they saw not only me, but they saw the army that I was bringing with.
Nice.
They didn't see me as a young Sowetan girl who wants to just buy herself a BMW and just look nice. They saw an army of individuals who are hungry for change and who are not different from anybody else who's successful, but they just needed that door to be opened. So for me, going into platforms and speaking to different people, not only representing myself, but representing other groups, actually allowed for the success that I am today. And as a result, founding a couple of companies as an entrepreneur within the continent, obviously started home in South Africa, eventually outside South Africa, within the continent, and then the global space just opened. And there is no way you would go in a global space and think you'll go there alone and succeed.
Yeah.
Always bring others with. Because with that, you are at least in a position where you know that if I don't make it, Doric will make it. If I don't make it, Nomsa will make it. And who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So for me, that has been a biggest investment of human capital, but not only as a matter of a job or an opportunity of just saying you employ them, in an opportunity of saying, go out there yourself and see what you can do beyond what I can do. So that when I'm not able to do what I think you can do, we can always be there to support each other.
Yeah.
Formed and started quite a lot of programs. Entrepreneurship is tricky. Entrepreneurship is hard. Back home, I was then part of quite a number of programs because, like I say, when you come as an army, they always identify you as a leader, even if you are not a leader.
Yeah.
So automatically, they would say, yes, we can see you're bringing others with, but we want to engage you. Because I had issues of grassroots of not being able to express myself in a certain way. I had issues of grassroots where I was not educated as other people were. So for me, I was pushing others, hoping that when they get there, I'll be busy with my own thing on the side. And it didn't work out like that. I was then identified as a leader to further go and advocate and to bring more young women, particularly youth, and so forth and so on. Yeah. So when I started programs like the board members, it was trying to really come up with a solution where when you are an entrepreneur and you're running your business alone, you can then appoint a team of people that will be accountable to you on behalf of your own plans, vision, dreams, and purposes, so that you don't walk alone.
Yeah. You know, the beauty of, I'm listening to your story, and Doric, this is me throwing it to you, is, if you are a person who is a believer in God, this is when they speak to getting your blessings, not just for self, but so that you can bless others. Yeah. And for me, that's what I'm hearing. That's the energy that I'm taking from this.
Yeah. And I think also just tapping into a conversation around how you've continued to help entrepreneurs develop themselves. So I'm going to mention a program that I picked up on when I got to know you, and it was the Village Boardroom Experience. And for people not aware of what that is, let's give them some juice and highlight how you work with entrepreneurs across the African continent, because our passion really is a Pan-African one. We want to see Africans grow. Our passion for women starts there. So in terms of the work that you're doing with the Village Boardroom Experience, what's that about?
Okay. Like I even said before, I never went out there and say, I'm looking for a job to empower people. I went on my way, doing my own thing, trying to empower myself. And at that time, I was hosting, or maybe I had a program that I was doing with Small Business Development Enterprise. At that time, it was endorsed by the minister, where I was offering services to entrepreneurs to hire my team to be board members within their company. Because what we were doing there, literally, we were trying to help businesses or entrepreneurs formalize themselves, where we're saying, we're going to give you an accountant. We're going to give you a lawyer because there's legal obligations. We're going to give you a marketing team. We're going to give you a sales team, so that you don't present yourself as a one-man show, right? And we structured ourselves, so I'll have teams to say, hire us as board members, then we can meet bi-monthly, and just to give you that feeling of running a corporation and a business and formalize yourself. Whilst I was doing that, an owner of the village, at that time, it was the Apprentice. So I've been with them literally for the past 6 years now, where every year I have a contract where I have to go and sit with entrepreneurs for about 2 months who come from all over the continent, who are paid for to come and learn how to put up business plans, how to present themselves, and how to, as entrepreneurs also, be exposed to ways and means on how they can improve themselves. But more than anything, because that also is a Christ-centric program, they also teach spiritually on how to run with your purpose. But to run with your purpose literally means you just don't sit there and be praying and fasting. It means you need to have a tool in your hand.
100%.
And they use entrepreneurship as that tool to help communities to fight and eliminate social ills. So each and every year they have about 200 entrepreneurs from all over the continent where they are locked up in a hotel.
Boot camp.
Yes. And I'm appointed there as the head adjudicator or chief adjudicator lately. And we also have quite a team of very extensive entrepreneurs who also come from different industries, who come and literally interrogate the processes of any individual who is part of the boardroom experience, to give them an insight that when you just say you're an entrepreneur, you literally are fighting demons within your life. You literally are fighting poverty for your families. And you are there literally taking charge and making decisions for even descendants that you'll never meet.
Yeah.
Which is legacy.
Yes.
So when entrepreneurship is the only way, obviously out of education, I'll get to that some other day, story for another day, because we have the unemployment rate skyrocketing to a level where people are very hopeless, disgruntled of saying, I'm now on my second PhD, but I have not even tasted the life of employment. So that alone is a process at which, yes, it has worked to a certain level. But what are other solutions now that are there to help us transform the legacy of who we are as the people who want to emancipate ourselves economically?
Well, I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that you're here today and give our viewers at least a dash of some of the things that you share with these individuals when they're exposed to you. So let's go into practical tips. So you've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. What are some of the things you've picked up that you wish, and now we're speaking specifically about women.
Yeah.
You spoke about how you lacked confidence when you started off, but you don't look like that anymore. Neither do you speak like someone who does not have confidence. There are people who watch and they go, oh yeah, people are just talking. You don't understand where I've been. And I think that's why we take it backwards when we start in our conversations to say, as a child, who were you and who are you now? And so bringing it now into practical tips, what are some of the things that you've picked up that women struggle with as entrepreneurs? Maybe 3 key things?
It's actually, I'll zoom in on one, which I feel is the ultimate, which is part of actually self-development.
Okay.
Decision-making processes.
Oh.
That alone, we can spend the whole days talking about decision-making processes. I listened to you the other day. We were in a program together, and you actually explained what your name meant, and I love that. How you said it's from some different.
It's a Greek name.
It's a Greek name.
It means a pillar.
And with that, I'm just going to go straight and delve into decision. Even the originality of decision. I understand it comes from a Spanish word to decipher, we'll look it up, which ultimately means cut off or cut off. So if people can understand the fundamental and the importance of decision, meaning cut off any other options you have to face this one, so that with whatever that you have chosen, have moved as a decision, you will use that as a catalyst to take you to the next level.
Oof.
So even also in entrepreneurship, if you're going to be a person who struggles with making clear and precise decisions for any level at which you are at as an entrepreneur, you literally get stuck because you feel like you have options. You feel like, no, I can do a bit of a job here, but also I can do also a bit of this. Then I'll just have entrepreneurship as a by the way
thing. Extra side
and
thing.
Something to fall back on.
Yes. When you've decided, when you've cut off any other options, if actually this even applies in your personal life, if you suffer from decision making, and you literally get stuck. You literally get stuck. So these are some of the empowering tools that we teach entrepreneurs to say, when you've made a decision, you've made a decision. And particularly women, we have our boyfriends, husband, struggling to get out of a person. What are you going to eat tonight? It's difficult. When even the boyfriends, when you can't decide. It's the small things as that.
Sure.
Decide, make an option. I'm going to have a pizza or chicken. Don't say, just think whatever that you think is okay for me.
How do you not know?
So that's the issue. So that's how deep decision-making process is in terms of aligning you to be able to move forward with what you want to do. You've wasted 10 minutes trying to say, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. And also even with women, we suffer a lot with indecision. I'm going to just be controversial and say we even stay in wrong marriages for quite a long time because you can see that this is not right for you, but you just can't decide at the time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it wastes your time. It wastes your money. Sometimes actually even still your
mental
peace.
health.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
I was talking about how we relate to money as well. So we've had conversations about what used to happen to us when someone asks us, how much do you charge?
Yeah.
Pricing.
Oh.
And because we're so nurturing, we want to nurture you into giving us an amount that is definitely not going to work for us because we're too scared to say, actually, I charge 50,000 rands for this. So in terms of how you run business, you are a part of a lot of boards.
Yes.
How do you walk in and make decisions without fear? What keeps you going? What is it, like, what's your day like? Do you have like a particular mantra, affirmations? You go like, I'm going to do this today.
I just do that. Others call me a mentor. So there's no way I can go there and misrepresent not only myself, but also my mentees. I walk out there and make decisions.
Yeah.
And there's no way I'm going to talk about how I do it when you don't know the foundation of how and why I got to be in boards.
Yeah.
We then, with a group of women, organized ourselves, founded an organization called the Global Chairwomen. The Global Chairwomen was born out of the frustration of women not participating in key making decision positions. And looking at our counterparts, they don't even think twice. Our male counterparts, they walk into positions and they are appointed. It has nothing to do with more education, more confidence, it's just how they walk in with confidence and knowing that if I'm here to make money, which women are often so scared to mention that I'm here to make money.
Yeah.
They need to go around.
I'm here to grow.
Yes. They're here to match
impact, change lives.
Yes.
Men are there to make money.
And make it very clear.
And for themselves. So unfortunately, how we set up as women, we are the right human capital to actually can be in a position where we are in that key decision or in a position where we can make decisions. We can make better decisions for even others because it's in our nature.
Yeah.
It's just in our nature. So the philosophical idea literally about Global Chairwomen was that the declaration rather for women independence. When we got independence, there were a few pointers that the government was looking at. One being the right to vote, the right to legal representation. But we wanted to focus on the right for women to participate within the economic space. The right for women to get an remuneration. And it's there as a proclamation and a declaration. But we never are able to openly talk about that there's a policy and there's declarations that says women have the right for a representation to participate economically, equally economically, and equally get the remuneration that the counterparts get, and equally to earn, not to come and say, I'm coming here to showcase myself. You showcase yourself, what are you going to eat?
Yeah.
And for how long are you going to showcase yourself when you're already being educated?
Yeah.
When you're already, we are running a business. When you already have financial obligations, the right to earn a remuneration and wages. It's a right. So among all the other declarations and other needs that we put out there as part of the pointers that we'll look at when we're talking about women empowerment, outside of education, outside of voting. But that one, no one was saying anything about. And unfortunately, within the 25 years and within the much time, it's actually glaring that we still want to highlight women issues participating in the economy as something that we can have a talk show about. At my age and what I've gone through and what I had to do to be here, I thought at least we'll be talking about different statistics.
Yeah.
We're still fighting 20-something% of representation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that is
40%.
it's scary.
We were promised 40%.
It's scary. But what is more scary, and I'm going to say it in this platform, is that as much as the declarations are there, it's scary to say the women are not showing up.
Access. Because you touched on education, right? And unfortunately, that's one of the, another scary statistic is about, the level of education. I know that in the past 5-6 years, there's been a lot of talk around some of the reasons why women are not moving into or getting or progressing, when it comes to education. We know now there's all of the, feminine products, and we're trying to assist to keep girls there. There's pregnancy, there's so much, right? So women not showing up for these opportunities. How much is being done, in your experience at a global level, at a continental level, maybe you might even have at a national level, to make sure that this information is getting to the women? Because I understand that a lot of times we say things are there if you Google or whatever. The truth of the matter is women, those things, limited amount of women are lucky enough to be like us and have access to that. So if you can just share one thing that a program that that is reaching out in those far-flung areas so that women have access and know that there's an opportunity for them to show up, and present themselves too.
I think I'm lucky to be sitting here to say I'm actually part of those programs.
Yeah.
Personally alone, I've gone through 3 who have taken me to the position that I am at today. One of them was around 1999, run by then called the University of Pretoria. It was free, teaching women about entrepreneurship. We were about 300, but right at the end, we were about 20, 30 or something like that. Second one was an amazing program, a very hard program from Goldman Sachs, together with Gibbs. They nominated 10,000 women in the world to put them through the process where they can teach them about business. We were part of the first cohort, and I understand we got the most heat. For me, that was the most daunting and most difficult program. I even remember I lost my first business because of that, because the program literally put me at a position where I was literally tasting a process of studying an MBA. And that was hard for me because I needed to understand my company finances. And it was so hardcore. You'd attend, and it was a process of about 3 years. I'm not too sure how many of us stuck onto that program.
Yeah.
After that program, the United Nations was also a program where they said, if you are advocating internationally for where you come from, come and do a program, portfolio of evidence, engage, show us evidence of what you have done and the people that you've changed and what you've been doing. We'll take you through a doctorate program. Their hardest, because that literally meant you need to show proof of what you have studied, but also showing evidence so that you can find yourself to be approved in an international platform. So the programs are there, but are women willing to go through the process? Or you want to prioritize getting a child, first getting married? There's nothing wrong with marriage, by the way. Or which one do you want to prioritize at the time within your decision-making process? Or which one do you want to do? As a woman, which decision are you making to propel yourself forward? And mind you, I did all of those things. I knew no one politically. I did all of these things. I was a hardcore chick from Soweto who literally have experienced the backlash of Bantu education.
Yeah.
I knew no one. The first form that I got actually from the DTI, it was my mother who picked it up from a church. She was cleaning. And then they said, she said, apparently you're in business. They said you can get grants.
Yeah.
I filled in that form in 1998. I got a grant.
Yeah.
So platforms are there. Opportunities are there. But the resistance and the resilience should also be matching the energy of you becoming a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Let me take you just quickly to the statistics. 1.8 billion people in Africa, right? In the past 25 years, we've had the GDP growth of 350 million to about 350 billion to about 4 trillion now, the past 25 years, right? We are expecting now that in 2050, we'll have a GDP growth of about 29 trillion.
Sure.
With that population, and then the 50% population of those people, unfortunately, are not participating in those decisions. No. And those are women.
Sure. So that 50%, that chunk.
Which are women.
Is it predominantly women or it is just women?
It's women and youth. Where women outside of the continent, they make up 50% of the population. We're about 800 and something million.
Yeah.
But we are not in any key decision making positions, processes, entrepreneurship. The statistics are just glaring.
So I know we had a guest who also mentioned that besides the access that you're referring to, there are barriers everywhere. And I think we're still fighting. There was a movement that you were part of as well. Talking about financial empowerment for women, economic empowerment. But at this point, there are times when people have also alluded to the fact that sometimes women don't even have the confidence to participate in something. Where someone starts something, they call to say, do I qualify for this thing? Can I actually be a part of it? And that's the distinguishing the boldness between us and men, where a man will look at an opportunity and say, treat it like a project, I'm in there. And the woman will be very hesitant. Yeah. And I think that's why these conversations for us have been very important. To just through talk and conversation, we get to shift the mindset of a woman. Make her realize that that thing you've been sitting on, that business idea you've been sitting on, it is possible. So seeing that it's Heritage Month for us in South Africa, and we did have a dash of heritage things on us.
Yes, thank you.
Let's close off with you highlighting, what does heritage mean to you when you think about women right now? You spoke about legacy. What does that mean to you at this point, and what would you like to say to the ladies that are watching this?
I'm actually not even going to say to the ladies, because I'll use any platform and opportunity to actually make a call for action for people who are in a position to can be able to put women in the right positions. To just do that, even within your company, within your departments, just do that. Because almost all these dreams and visions of taking Africa to the next level, if we are not consciously appointing and putting women in the right key decisions, we are actually taking a walk. We actually have not even started with trying to take Africa to the next level. But also to women, like I said, I've always taken it for granted to talk more about what needs to happen, but to act.
Yeah.
To act more about what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Find a tribe. Organize yourselves. You don't have to be going out there trying to put yourself or better yourself, walking alone. Organize yourself so that you can solidify your voices. you don't have to be in a group of 100. I always say, don't be in a group of 100. Don't be in a group of 2,000 people where you're fighting for a position. And then the next thing you know, the organization has started, but there's no work that is getting done.
Yeah.
You are an organization as a minimum of 4 people who can make a substantial call in terms of wanting yourself and putting yourself and exposing yourself to platforms that can help you better yourself first. You need to better yourself first. Then obviously, when you better yourself, definitely, I'm confident that when a woman betters herself, the community automatically becomes in a better position.
Yeah.
And then when you fall, you are able to bring a region to a better position. When you are 15, we're then talking a whole
Country.
Continent.
A
A continent. As you move, as you go, and as you grow, you learn the structuring of yourself by organizing yourself so that you can make your voice heard and be solid. What heritage means for me, it means when a woman is emancipated enough and is able to stand up for herself, looking unfortunately at the statistics that we have for GBD, gender-based violence. And until the powers that are being put the right economy to the right hands, we'll be fighting for the same social ill without success. So heritage, as I look at what it means, where I am, where I belong, but for me, it says, as a woman, where I need to be at and what I need to get to propel the heritage forward and become an incumbent of that legacy. If that is not addressed, I'm still going to have a braai for heritage.
Drops mic.
Okay.
Because that's what heritage it is now. It's a braai day.
It's a Friday.
So I'm going to
There's
join
more
them.
to it.
Yeah.
It's painful.
Yeah. So many lessons for me personally. And just a big thank you to you. I think I'm encouraged. I'm very much encouraged because there's this thing that we keep on being told by the world over and over again is that women cannot work together. This is clearly the evidence that women can support each other. Women want to work in spaces with each other. And the facts are out there in the world. The evidence is there that we do work together. Dark?
No, I think I was watching one of your videos and you were talking about how it doesn't matter how many times you've assisted women to get into rooms and spaces, even if they've backstabbed you.
Keep doing it.
What they do with the opportunities you've given them is up to them.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the most powerful statements I heard you talking about at a particular event. And that's so important. We've gone into work and let go of certain partnerships because we didn't get along with women, but you fully understand your purpose. And you just saying, I've given you something, it's up to you to make it work. So if you were watching this today, and I'm sure you got some gems from Dr. Jazz, as we know her, and we're talking about Dr. Jasmine Pega, who is also serving as a UN ambassador, a lady who's involved in mentorship, the chairperson of Global Chairwomen Organisation. She does so much more, and you can Google her online. But also just to remind you to keep liking, share these podcasts. These conversations are so important. And remember to also subscribe to the African Bank TV channel on YouTube. And this is us saying goodbye to you. Thank you so much, Dr. Jazz. And to you, Kanya Sosibo.
Nawe, Dorix Itole.
And we were talking
Money.